And I'm doing this video because I've been getting a lot of questions, whether on LinkedIn, Facebook, and I've been getting a lot of people asking me questions about how do they prepare for the psychology honors selection. Hi there, this is Dr. T and I welcome you. And I'm doing this video because I've been getting a lot of questions, whether on LinkedIn, Facebook, and I've been getting a lot of people asking me questions about how do they prepare for the psychology honors selection. And, you know, if you look at, I thought I'll do a video just maybe to bring some form of clarity about that. And you will see most of the answers that I provide for those whom I've answered on LinkedIn was that there is a lot of similarities between the masters and psychology honors selection. I remember when I did my honors selection, it was at UP then, and I mean the approach was still the same in terms of the format of the selection. You still go through the similar process that any master student will go through, mostly less intense though, because we don't do, they will not require you to do some form of, I think then we didn't have to do some form of therapy, because at honors level, you are limited in terms of what you can do regarding that. So it was a bit limited. So the reason I'm doing this video is to firstly share with you that the selection for honors and the selection for masters are similar in terms of approach. That is why if you look at the videos I've done, I've always mentioned masters and psychology selection, because when you listen to either one of them, it will help you with any selection. It will help you with whether you are going for masters or whether you are going for honors. So the question that you should ask if you are on the channel is, where do I start in terms of the videos? I will say, if you are applying or you have been invited, I will say start with these two videos where I speak about how to avoid rejection, part 1 and part 2, how to avoid rejection, because these videos actually, they give you an overview about what selection is all about, the bias that exists in the selection, but also it prepares your mind about what you need to understand and know about the selection. And then secondly, I will look into these two videos. This video, I speak about the categories in psychology, and also I speak about the scope of practice. I don't necessarily think they will hinge much on them, because usually at honors level, you can branch into psychometry, counseling, and they might want to know where is your short-term plan. And your short-term plan could be either to become a registered counselor or a psychometrist. So these two videos, one speaks about the development of the scope of practice, which I think if you know that, it will show that you are very knowledgeable about the field of psychology. And the other one speaks about the different categories. I also touch on the psychometry and the registered counselor, which is what you might need to really know very well. But I think if you also know the different categories of psychologists, it is good. In case they ask you, which I don't necessarily think they will go that far, they might ask you, where do you see yourself in the future? So you rather know what are the categories that you want to branch into in the future, which is a good thing, because it shows that you've got the knowledge of psychology. But I think the two that you need to know at honors level is the psychometry and the counseling, because some of you might actually be enrolling for either one. If you are going for the B-Psych, you might be B-Psych equivalent rather. You might be applying for counseling or psychometry, and they might want to know why did you choose them. So you need to know these two. So if you are going for counseling, I will say watch this video where I interview a registered counselor. This lady has been a registered counselor, a good friend of mine. She has been in the field for a long time, very experienced in the field. And I think she shares a very informative information or knowledge that can help you in terms of understanding the field of registered counselor. And if you are going for a psychometry, I will say listen to this video where I interview Monet. Monet is one of the most passionate psychometrists I came across in my career path. And I think if you listen to these videos, whatever category that you have followed in terms of B-Psych, I think you should be well informed about what do they pertain. But there's also a video which I've done where I speak about the different, the psychology articulation, and also the one that I speak about the psychology profession. One actually helps you to understand how does one become a psychologist, and the other one helps you to understand the psychology profession. I speak about the voluntary erasure, which is not a common thing, but it's one of the things that occur within, that shows you how many psychologists are there, the need in psychology. So I also encourage you that you watch these two videos. They will help you broaden your understanding about psychology, how it works, where can you work with psychology, because you might be asked these questions. Where do you see yourself? Where do you think you might work? Because the minute you share about where you can work, it shows that you understand psychology, you understand its field, you understand its broadness. So don't just go there and just speak, but show that you understand what you are talking about, particularly if you are coming to an honors level. They want to be convinced that you understand why you chose psychology. I tell people, if you are invited for an interview, they are already interested. They think you have got a potential. You just need to go there and prove that indeed you are competent and you are the right person to be selected for that particular program. So I think if you can watch these videos, they will help you. And if you want to know more about the different categories, beside what I've shared with you, the video I showed you, I will encourage you that you watch the individual videos where I interview people in the category that you are interested in. And to do that is very simple. All you do when you are on the channel, make sure that you go to the playlist and choose the psychology profession, and it will show you all the videos that you have done, the people you've interviewed, and then you can listen to that. But I think the videos that are more important at this point are the recent videos that we have done. I call them the chill session. I think there are about 3 of them, if not 4. One of them is in the live section. If you go to the channel here and you check on the live section, you will find a video. After that, there were other several videos. I think it's chill session 1, 2, and 3. Listen to those, because there, I'm not the one doing the talking, but people who have been selected into the psychology masters are sharing about their experience. And I think that is actually very informative, because it guides you on what happened during the selection. And I'm telling you, there's no way that you can listen to all these videos and you go there unprepared, because there's nothing tricky they can do beside what they do for masters, and it can't be worse than the masters. You are not getting into masters, you are getting to psychology honors. There's no way it's going to be more difficult than preparing. So if you are preparing like you are getting into masters, it should be easier for you, and you should be better prepared when you are going for that psychology honors selection. So in short, my response to you, because I've been getting a lot of questions and I thought maybe the easiest way is just to make a video and answer this question, is to say the selections are similar. They are similar in terms of wanting to understand your understanding of the profession. And most of the time, people who ask me a lot are psychometry. Look, psychometry, and I do agree, there's not much in terms of psychometry, because psychometry has not been well promoted, as a profession. But you need to understand psychometry. And there's a document, I need to look for that document. There's a document that stipulates the practice of psychologists. I think the document was called Business Practice for Psychology Profession, something like that. And it used to distinguish what psychometrists do as compared to other professions. And I think it's one of the most important documents that I also came across. But I think if you can just understand the scope of practice, or rather the scope of profession, because the scope of practice is an old document, but it does to some extent give an idea of what is expected. Psychometrists initially, actually, when this career was developed, it was meant to promote or to develop professionals who will help in advancing psychometric test developments in South Africa. The reason in South Africa at this point of got few tests in South African language or originally developed in South Africa was because the profession of psychometry was not well developed. Even if you can check now, you go around, there are only about a handful of companies I can think of, that develop psychometric media in South Africa. I mean, I can count them in just one hand. There are very few, and white-owned majority of them. So there's still a lot of transformation that needs to happen. Most people who follow the psychology profession, they only want to become psychologists. I'm telling you, psychologist is one part of psychology profession. Psychometrist is another. It's a mind of its own that we ignore. I think it's a huge niche area for people who really want to be in that particular field. And I would encourage you, if you are really interested, I think there's a lot you can do and contribute in the field of psychometry. And the more you understand it, the more you understand its broadness, the more you understand its depth, I think the more you'll realize you can actually make a living in this field without even considering others. Most of the people who don't like it, maybe they worked for bad bosses, they work for bad companies, but people who understand psychometry well, I'm telling you, psychometry is a mind of its own. I mean, the limits, it's unlimited in terms of what you can do. There's a lot. It's very broad, So you need to study it. Most people, I don't want to lie, even those who get into psychometry whom I've interacted with, you can hear that their knowledge and information about psychometry is limited. Psychometry is very broad. So I want to encourage you that don't stress. If you have the invite, follow the invite, watch the video I've recommended, and I believe you will do well in this particular field. Just understand why you are following the profession, understand why you choose this profession, and relax and follow the videos and the advice that are given there. And I believe you will do well. So enjoy and all the best. This is Dr. T, and continue living life to the fullest. Enjoy.